Do you ever set a towering goal, like learning a language in a month or running a marathon before summer, and then feel crushed by the sheer distance to that finish line? You wake up excited on day 1, map out every step, and by day 3, you're already overwhelmed, slipping back into old routines and wondering what went wrong. This is the paradox of big goals. The more ambitious they are, the more power they have to sap your motivation and leave you feeling like a failure before you even begin. In this video, you'll discover why colossal objectives trigger our brain's threat response, how the gap between intention and reality breeds self-doubt, and what science says about setting goals that inspire action rather than paralysis. We'll guide you through a 3-part toolkit: micro goals that build momentum, identity-based habits that stick, and progress rituals that sustain your drive, so you can transform lofty dreams into achievable steps and keep your motivation alive every day. When you set a goal so big it feels like climbing Everest in a single push, your brain's survival alarms go off, triggering stress hormones that make you want to back away rather than charge forward. First, the sheer gap between where you are and where you dream of being floods your amygdala with signals of uncertainty, which hijacks your prefrontal cortex and makes decision-making harder, so you procrastinate instead of planning. Second, the larger the goal, the more self-control you must summon for each tiny step. And because willpower is a limited resource, you quickly deplete it, what psychologists call ego depletion. So by day 3, you're running on empty and revert to old habits. Third, our motivation thrives on momentum. According to goal gradient theory, we accelerate as we approach a finish line but stall when the finish seems impossibly distant. Imagine sprinting to a visible ribbon versus trudging on a road that disappears into the clouds. Together, these forces trap you in a vicious cycle of overwhelm, fatigue, and discouragement, even if your intention was sincere. Recognizing how your brain reacts to oversized targets is the crucial why behind the paradox of goals. It's not that you lack grit or discipline, but that your neurobiology and cognitive limits conspire against giant leaps. Now that you understand why mega goals backfire, let's dive into a mindset toolkit of bite-sized wins, identity-anchored habits, and rituals that close the gap between intention and action, keeping you energized and on course every single day. To flip the script, begin with micro goals that feel almost trivial rather than terrifying. Imagine you must eat an entire elephant. Rather than staring at that impossible feast, focus on the first bite. Choose a next action so small you can't say no. Write 1 sentence, run for 2 minutes, or practice your new language for 60 seconds. Psychologists call this the 2-minute rule. And it taps into momentum. Once you've started, inertia carries you further than you'd expect. Each tiny win releases a shot of dopamine, signaling progress and fueling your drive for the next step. Make a micro goal map today by breaking your big ambition into at least 10 subtasks that take under 5 minutes each, and schedule 1 into your calendar. Celebrate each completion with a quick mental high five or check mark in your journal. These rituals reinforce your identity as someone who follows through. By eating the elephant 1 bite at a time, you transform mountainous goals into a series of manageable, confidence-building wins that keep your motivation alive. Next, anchor your actions in your identity rather than your aspirations. Instead of chasing the outcome, "I want to write a novel," declare to yourself, "I am a writer." And let every small act, writing a single sentence, jotting down an idea, reinforce that identity. And this shift leverages what researchers call identity-based habits. When your self-image aligns with your actions, motivation flows naturally because you're not trying to become someone new. You're simply showing up as who you already are. To put this into practice, craft a concise identity statement. I am someone who, and choose 1 micro behavior that embodies it, like, I am someone who writes 100 words every morning. Tuck that behavior into an existing routine. After you pour your morning coffee, open your notebook and write. Celebrate by mentally affirming that's who I am, creating a powerful feedback loop between action and self-concept. Over time, these tiny identity wins accumulate, making the larger goal feel inevitable rather than out of reach. With your micro goals building momentum and your identity now pulling you forward, the final step is to cement progress through ritualized reflection and celebration. And we'll dive into that next. To lock in your momentum, establish simple progress rituals that turn each micro win into lasting motivation. At the end of every day, spend 2 minutes listing the specific steps you took toward your goal, no matter how small, and note 1 feeling you experienced, like pride or relief. This daily win log reinforces progress and primes your brain to seek that positive emotion again tomorrow. Once a week, hold a brief progress ceremony. Review your micro goal map. Check off the tasks you've completed and celebrate with a small reward that aligns with your identity. Perhaps a favorite song, a walk in nature, or a healthy treat, so your brain connects effort with enjoyment. Neuroscience shows that celebrating wins releases dopamine, strengthening the habit loop, while self-determination theory reminds us that recognizing competence fuels intrinsic motivation. If you hit a rough patch, revisit your identity statement and micro goal map to realign your actions and values, then recommit to the next tiny step. By ritualizing reflection and celebration, you create a self-sustaining cycle where consistency breeds confidence, and every success, no matter how modest, propels you forward, keeping the spark of motivation alive until your big goal becomes a natural part of who you are. Now that you've mastered micro goals, identity-based habits, and progress rituals, reinforce your system with environmental design and commitment devices that make success effortless. Transform your space into a silent coach by placing cues where you can't miss them. Leave your running shoes by the door, put your notebook next to your coffee maker, or set a daily reminder that automatically opens your writing app. Use if-then planning to pre-decide how you'll respond to common obstacles. If I feel resistance, then I'll do one 2-minute task instead of nothing, to bypass decision fatigue when motivation dips. Invite an accountability partner by sharing your micro-goal map and progress logs. Knowing someone will ask about your next small win creates gentle social pressure that keeps you on track. Embrace the Stoic practice of reflecting on your day with a brief evening "what went well, what challenged me" ritual, recognizing that setbacks aren't proof of failure, but opportunities for insight. Finally, adopt a long-term lens by periodically revisiting your original why, the deeper purpose that sparked your ambition, to keep your identity and actions aligned. By shaping your environment, pre-committing to action, leveraging social support, and anchoring in purpose, you complete the toolkit for turning towering dreams into sustainable progress, ensuring motivation doesn't just ignite but endures. As you integrate micro goals, identity-based habits, progress rituals, environmental design, and commitment devices into your daily life, you transform the towering dream that once intimidated you into a step-by-step journey that feels natural and achievable. Every tiny win reinforces your emerging identity and fuels your momentum, while thoughtfully designed cues and accountability keep you on track even when motivation ebbs. Remember, the paradox of goals isn't a sign of weakness. It's an invitation to work with your brain's wiring instead of against it, to trade overwhelming ambition for sustainable progress, and to redefine success as consistent action rather than distant outcomes. If you're ready to turn daunting aspirations into a series of empowering choices, give this video a thumbs up. Share it with anyone who could use a smarter approach to goal setting, and subscribe to Mind Unlocked for more research-backed toolkits that make complex psychology simple, practical, and life-changing.